好，同学们大家好我们继续讲圣经啊。那么现在我们讲50章了啊，最后一章啊，我们简单实的最后一章啊。那么我们先念这个啊，sorry，这个东西它又不能 highlight，不管了啊，我们先念。Then Joseph threw himself on his father's face and wept over him and kissed him. Joseph commanded the physicians in his service to embalm his father. So the physicians embalmed Israel. They spent 40 days in doing this, for that is the time required for embalming. And the Egyptians wept for him 70 days 啊，厉害啊！那么我们看 Then Joseph threw himself on his father's face and wept over him and kissed him. 这个不用解释了啊。Joseph commanded the physicians in his service to embalm his father. 那么这个 embalm 就是涂油啊，这个是葬礼的一种礼节啊。embalm 同学们可以自己查一查啊。embalm 就是preserve from the decay 啊，Egyptian method of embalming 啊，preserve someone in an unaltered state 啊，就是那种一种涂油啊，那葬礼啊一种意思啊，让他不死了以后。他不会改变的啊，embalm 啊，那就 embalm 啊，embalm himself his father 啊。So the physicians embalmed Israel 啊，they spent 那么这个就是说，好像那个埃及的那个木乃伊都植入来，都要经过这个的啊，都要经过这个embalm 这个手续的啊。They spent 40 days in doing that，他们要花40天啊做这个的。For this is the time required for embalming 啊，and the Egyptian wept for him 70 days 啊，那那我们看注解123，我们看一下50的123啊，50啊，50的1到26是 burial of Jacob and the final days of Joseph 啊，那么这个1到21有个注解。This non-priestly narrative presupposes that the burial and mourning occurred in Transjordan, not at the cave at 那么这个不用解释，他就是这个呢，他们那个葬礼呢是发生在那个 Transjordan 啊，而不是在这个 Macpela 啊。那么2到3啊 ，Jacob is provided with the Egyptian Jacob is provided with the Egyptian honors 啊，embalming and lengthy mourning 啊。With the Egyptian honors, embalming and lengthy mourning 啊，这个一点好。那么我们回过头来，看第2段啊，看这里啊，sorry，这个东西啊，When the days of weeping for him were past, Joseph addressed the household of Pharaoh. If now I have found favor with you, please speak to Pharaoh as follows. My father made me swear on an oath. He said, I'm about to die in the tomb that I hewed out for myself in the land of Canaan. There you shall bury me. Now therefore let me go up, so that I may bury my father. Then I will return. Pharaoh answered, Go up and bury your father, as he made you swear to do. 好，那么这个我们来看第一句啊。When the days of weeping for him were past, Joseph addressed the household of Pharaoh. If now I have found favor with you, please speak to Pharaoh as follows. My father made me swear an oath. He said, I'm about to die in the tomb that I hewed out for myself in the land of in the tomb. 这个是一个定语从句啊。That I hewed out. 那么什么叫 hewed out 我们查一下 ，hewed 就是好像挖。hew 啊 ，chop 啊 ，cut 啊，挖出来的啊 ，make 啊，就是 make 啊，usually I hewed out make or shape by cutting 啊，就是 make 啊 ，make a tomb 啊，for hew 就是那个 hew 啊，hew 就是 hew 啊，hewed out 我做的啊，I hewed out for myself，我为自己做的一个墓啊，in the land of there you shall bury me 啊，那么 now therefore let me go up so that I may bury my father, then I will return. Pharaoh answered, Go up, bury your father as you may 啊，这个。那么这个呢，就是说，我们看看这个第五啊，我们看看网上这个 Hugh 他另外的其他的翻译啊是怎么翻的啊？这个第五啊 ，Hugh 啊，in my tomb that I healed， 这也是用 Hugh 啊，bury me in the tomb I dug 啊，看到没有？这里 Hugh 他说是 dug for myself， 他挖的，对不对？I dug for myself， 这个翻译是这样的啊。那么这个呢也是 dug 啊，这里用的是 dug。那么我们看这个啊，back to the land of bury me in I， 那同学们，这个翻译就比较好。I prepared for myself 啊，我准备的，我自己准备的，也没有说 Hugh 啊，也没有说 dug 啊，因为他实际上面呢应该是这样的，他呢就是说他祖先的墓呢，他祖先呢都葬在那边的。其实呢，这个杰克吧，他也不会呢事先啊就去为自己挖，或者就为自己做个墓的，对不对？不，他不会这样做的啊。一般的说来呢，等于说呢，他就是说。他准备了啊，他为自己准备了一个地方，下葬的啊，明白吗？是这个意思啊。那所以这个翻译相当的准确啊。I prepared for myself 啊，你也别去管他什么 Hugh 啊，什么 dig 啊，这对不对？这种东西都不是很贴切啊。这里用一个很模糊一点的 I prepared for myself， 这个是最好的啊。这个翻译啊，同学们，这个版本，所以我说啊，这个版本是最好的。同学们以后如果要参考单一的一个版本的话，那就参考这个 NLT 啊，这个版本这翻译是最好的啊，它有个该怎么都是经过仔细琢磨的啊，对不对？其他的版本包括我买的这个，我买的这个版本呢，它比较尊重啊原来的东西，因为它学术性的嘛。他比较尊重这种原始的东西啊，那么原始的东西呢，有一个问题，就是说有些词不是很贴切啊，是不是啊？你用了以后，它原来就是这个希伯来语呢，可能就这个意思 ，Hugh， 对不对？或者是那个古希腊的那个语言里面，你把它字面上面立出来的话，那么就是这个意思。但是呢，你现在呢，你要仔细考虑一下，对不对？翻译的时候，你是照着它的原来的意思翻呢，还是意译啊？那么我们这个地方呢，就是后面这个网站呢，这里呢它就是意译了，意译啊，明白吗？这个东西好，那么我们看一下我们这里的注解啊，456啊，456。50的456啊，2的3。456，那么5呢有一个注解，不好意思，5呢一个注解 ，This speech by Joseph links to the non-priestly order to bury him at the ancestral burial place. Here, a tomb that had hewn out for himself 那links to him the ancestral here a tomb that had hewn out for himself 那么这里他好像是字面上的。他真的为自己挖了一个墓那这个注解呢 ？This speech by Joseph links to the nuptial order to bury him here。他说在这里a tomb that Jacob had hewn out for himself 那么这个问题呢，就比较这种问题比较难说。就是说，至于Joseph到底他以前是不是为自己真的挖了一个墓，为自己准备好了？这个东西呢，这个东西其实，没说，圣经里面肯定没说所以有不同的翻译因为如果他在圣经其他的地方肯定这个杰克伯肯定以前为自己呢挖了一个墓的话，那么他这里呢就有的地方呢就会讲得很准确不会这么意义的那么这个东西我们不深究了，不管他是以前为自己准备了一个墓还是没有，这个东西也就不那个了那么这个那么好，那么我们看这后面一段。后面一段 ，so So Joseph went up to bury his father. With him went up all the servants of Pharaoh, the elders of his household, and all the elders of the land of Egypt, as well as all the household of Joseph, his brothers, and his father's household. Only their children, their flocks, and their herds were left in the land of Goshen. Both chariots, and both chariots and charioteers went up with him. It was a very great company. When they came into the threshing floor of Atad, which is beyond the Jordan, they held there a very great and sorrowful lamentation. And he observed a time of mourning for his father 7 days. When the Canaanite inhabitants of the land saw the mourning on the threshing floor, threshing floor of Atad, they said, "This is a grievous mourning on the part of the Egyptians." Therefore, the place was named Abba Mizraim. It is beyond the Jordan. Thus his sons did for him as he had instructed them. They carried him into the land of Canaan and buried him in the cave of the field of Machpelah, the field near Mamre, which Abraham bought as a burial site from Ephron the Hittite. After he had buried his father, Joseph returned to Egypt with his brothers and all who had gone up with him to bury his father. 那么这段是我们就要看So Joseph went up to bury his father. With him went up all the servants of Pharaoh, the elders of his household, and all the elders of the land of Egypt, as well as all the household of, as well as the house of Joseph, his brothers, and his father's household. 那么 only their children, their flocks, and their herds were left in the land of Goshen. 他们都去走了剩下的那个那么这个7到8呢也没什么好困难的那么我们看看这个我们这注意7到8，50的7到8没有注解好，然后我们看9both chariots and charioteers。好，那么这个 chariot 这个我们好像是马车这怎么会有2种马车这是什么玩意不好意思我这个词我这模模糊糊记得是 chariot chariot sorry 稍等一下 chariot chariot a light four-wheeled pleasure state carriage a two-wheeled horse-drawn battle car chariot那么就是 chariot 就是这种马车 chariot 而不是 chariot 那么 charioteer 怎么意思charioteer 是驾马车的驾马车的人charioteer 我们看看charioteer 是好像驾马车的人charioteer one who drives a chariot one who captures charioteer 那么我们看看这个发音它这里是美国的发音我们看看那个牛津发音chariot charioteer 那么我稍等一下那么他这里说 chariot 那么所以说我发的是 chariot 也可以chariot chariot 也可以那么我们就念 chariot 按照一般习惯的话 chariot 比较顺口一点chariot and charioteers 刚才这是什么我又忘了这个玩意我现在记性有问题同学们 charioteer 是驾马车的人好像是对吧 charioteer the driver of a chariot
charioteer
啊，那么就是马车和那个驾马车的人啊，both chariots and charioteers went up with him 啊 ，it was a very great company 啊。那么这个第九不用解释了啊，第九我们看看有没有注解，这个我们也没有注解的第九，50的9也没有的，那么只有到10有。第10啊。When they came into the threshing floor of Atad, which is beyond the Jordan, they held there a very great and sorrowful lamentation, and he observed the time of mourning for his father 7 days 啊。那么这个第10啊，我们要看一下的啊。这个第10我们要看一下的，什么叫那个玩意啊？这个50的第10要看一下。When they came to the threshing floor, 什么叫 threshing floor of Atad, which is beyond the Jordan? When they reached the threshing floor of threshing floor of Atad 啊，那么 when there's the threshing floor, 什么叫 threshing floor? 我们要查一下。When they arrived at the threshing floor of Atad near the Jordan River, they held a very great and solemn memorial 啊。那么稍等一下啊。好，同学们，这个 threshing floor 啊，就是那个打谷场啊。那同学们看，古代的那种打谷场啊，你看看，这个是他们是这个丰收啊，麦子丰收啊 ，the threshing floor 啊，那网上有的那种啊 ，threshing is the process by which the grain and husks are loosened 啊。就是打谷场啊，也就是当 after field 啊，那同学们就是打谷场，那么同学们自己可以去查，那什么叫 threshing floor 啊？那同学们知道。好，那么我们就是of Atad near the 好，那么好，那么 when they 我们看看When they arrived at the threshing floor of Atad near the Jordan River, they held a very great and solemn memorial service with a 7-day period of mourning for Joseph's father 啊。那么 with a 7-day period of mourning for Joseph's father。那么好，那么我们看看啊。When they came to the which is beyond, they held a very great service。好，那么这个10有一个注解，我们看看。这个10 Hebron, Memra is much closer to Egypt than is unidentified location in Transjordan 啊，它是这个注解啊。那么好，我们看看啊。第10 when they came to the which is beyond, they will have for his 7 days。好，后面啊。When the Canaanite inhabitants of the land saw the mourning on the threshing floor of Atad, they said, "This is a grievous mourning on the part of the Egyptians." Therefore, the place was named. This is a grievous mourning on the part of the Egyptians. Therefore, the place was named Abel Zimram. It is beyond the Jordan. The Jordan 应该是那个 river 啊，这就是那个约旦河啊。那么这里看看啊，这个 A 有一个什么 ？That is a mourning of Egypt 啊。对于埃及的一个伤心啊，就是埃及人啊，他们说啊，当地人说啊 ，this is the grievous 伤心的那个哀悼啊 ，on the part of Egyptians 啊，在这个。由那个埃及人来哀悼的 ，on the part of Egypt。我们看看这个什么叫 mourning of Egypt， 看到没有？对于 Egypt 是埃及人的伤心啊。那么这句比较 ，it is beyond Jordan。那么我们这个11要看一下啊，这个11有点含糊，什么叫 on the part of Egypt 啊？When the inhabitants they kind of saw the mourning of the threshing, they said, "This is a grievous mourning by the." 那同学们这里 ，on the part of by the Egyptians on the part of Egyptians 就是 by Egyptians therefore the place it is beyond Jordan 啊，那就是有 by 啊，有埃及人在哀悼，等于说啊 ，on the part of Egyptians 啊，有埃及人哀悼，应该这样说 ，who lived there saw the mourning The Egyptians are holding a solemn ceremony of mourning. This is why that place near the Jordan is called 那个是那个词啊，那个名词的意思就是那个Morning of Egypt 啊，埃及人的那个哀悼啊，这个名称就是这样的啊。好，那么我们来看别的地方的 They say they are holding a solemn, the Egyptians are holding it. 好，那么我们看这个啊。The local residents of the Canada watch them mourning and the threshing of then they renamed that place 啊，他们重新命名了 which is near the Jordan 啊。For they said this is a place of deep mourning for deep mourning 啊 for these Egyptians 啊 deep mourning for these 它应该不是说 for these 不是未来我为 these Egyptians 啊 these Egyptians mourning 这个翻译也有问题啊。那么反正他们重新改了名字，把那个名字叫做 Morning of Egypt， 对不对啊？好，那么这个大家明白了啊，就是好，那么就是 Beyond Jordan。那么我们看看这个11，我们这个地方好像没有注解的，50、11。那么我们看看12 ，That's his son， That's his sons did for him as he had instructed them 啊。That's his sons did for him as he， 这个就是他们为他那样做的啊。那么我们看看这句也是不是很明白啊。So Jacob's sons did as he had commanded 啊，这个就是啊，因为So Jacob's sons did as he had commanded them 啊。那么这个呢，就我们这里都用的是 his 啊，就是到底是谁是谁啊，对不对 ？His sons did for him as he had instructed， 然后 they carried him to the land of Canaan and buried him in the cave of the field near Mamre, which Abraham bought as a burial site from Ephron the Hittites 啊，这一句不用翻了啊，这一句不用。They carry him to the land of， 这个不用翻。After he had buried his father, Joseph returned to Egypt with his brothers and all gone with him to bury 啊。那么这个就好。那么我们看看这一段最后的啊，12到13。12到13，算了。The priestly narrative 啊，这12到13就没了，12到13就没了。好，那么这一段呢就讲完了啊。那么我们下面要讲这一段了，要讲这一段啊，不好意思啊，这个东西现在没法 highlight。Realizing that their father was dead, Joseph's brothers said, what if Joseph still bears a grudge against us and pays us back in full for all the wrong that we did to him? So they approached Joseph, saying, your father gave this instruction before he died. Say to Joseph, I beg you, forgive the crime of your brothers and the wrong they did in harming you. Now, therefore, please forgive the crime of the servants. Now, therefore, please forgive the crime of the servants of the God of your father. Joseph wept when they spoke to him. Then his brother also wept, fell down before him, and said, we are here as your slaves. But Joseph said to them, do not be afraid. Am I in the place of God? Even though you intended to do harm to me, God intended it for good, in order to preserve numerous people, as he is doing today. So have no fear. I myself will provide for you and your little ones. In this way, he reassured them, speaking kindly to them. 好，那么这一段15到 21，那么现在24分了，我们今天就讲到这，下一次再讲啊，谢谢大家，再见。